Bien, señores, y comenzamos ya esta ronda de entrevistas en este FOA 2019. Súper contentos y felices con este contacto que estamos realizando con nuestro público. Y tenemos a nuestro primer invitado del día de hoy, agradeciendo a nuestro público que se está sumando en nuestras redes sociales, nos están escribiendo. Recuerden que estamos en Facebook, en Twitter, en Instagram y en LinkedIn. Ravelo.
Claro que sí, Rafael. Y mira, antes de empezar con esta entrevista, pedirle a las personas que la están escuchando en vivo que nos comenten. Y ya ahorita más adelante les voy a decir por qué le estoy diciendo esto. Pero que los que están escuchando en vivo a través de la aplicación, que nos pongan algún comentario y que nos pongan algún like. Mira, tenemos con nosotros, Rafael, y ya empezamos todas estas entrevistas a los conferencistas de FOA 2019, The Future of Advertising. Tenemos a Morten Gotterup. Morten Gotterup, quien es presidente de Clear Channel Airports, la más importante empresa comercializadora de publicidad en aeropuertos a escala global. Y bueno, no voy a extenderme mucho porque lo están esperando para empezar inmediatamente con su exposición. Y de inmediato vamos a darle la bienvenida a Morten. Morten, nice to have you here in Almuerzo de Negocios. This is a business and marketing radio show here in the Dominican Republic. And we are very glad to have you here and you know, to share all the information in this FOA 2019.
It's great to be here. What a pleasure. I've been extremely impressed by the quality of the presentation and the active audience participation. And obviously for me, the Dominican Republic is a very special place. I love coming here.
You've been here now?
I've been here 17 years every year.
Wow.
And I think it's one of the most special places on earth. But also from a business perspective, our business is in 5 of the Dominican airports.
Wow.
So for example, at Santo Domingo, we have the airport media contract.
Okay.
And so it's important for us that we have a good presence and a good brand here. And what a great forum to come and talk in front of all the media leaders of the Dominican Republic.
Excelente. Nos dice Morten que le encanta estar aquí, que le ha gustado mucho cómo está organizado todo y lo muy activo de la audiencia, pero más importante, tiene 17 años viniendo todos los años y que en 5 de los aeropuertos de la República Dominicana ellos tienen negocio y bueno, le toca venir todos los años y qué buena manera de venir aquí a hablar de los productos.
Me decía que conoce bastante bien el mangú.
Ah, mangú. Mangú, sancocho. The food of the Dominican Republic.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Morten, the first question that I have for you is, when you are doing communications and advertising and marketing in a city, you can have an idea of what are the people that are in the city, the demographics or the information, the education of that people. But in an airport, you have all kinds of people.
Yes.
And this is difficult, you know, for you to know what people is going to pass through a billboard or a screen. How do you manage this difficulty? Because it is for me is a difficulty for you to know who is going to see the advertising.
So it's an excellent question and something we sit and think about all day. So we're in over 100 airports and then over 100 private airports as well.
100 aeropuertos privados.
Sí. And one of the things that I like to talk about is that in whether it's Santo Domingo, Atlanta, Georgia, or San Antonio, Texas, or any city, that is the local airport. In Atlanta, it's Home Depot, Coca-Cola. It is critical that it's their airport. In the Dominican Republic, in Santo Domingo, there's obviously very important brands like Presidente and Claro, where it's very important for us that those brands have an opportunity to present themselves in their hometown airport.
Excelente. Le dice Morten que lo más importante, porque la pregunta le hago, ¿cómo saber a quién le hablo en un aeropuerto donde va a pasar gente de cualquier parte del mundo? Y lo primero que él dice es que el aeropuerto de una ciudad siempre quiere tener marcas representativas de ese país y de esa ciudad colocadas en la publicidad.
The one thing I'd also say is it's about talking to people at the right moment.
Okay.
If someone is in baggage claim, it's a different ad. It's about talking to them, for example, about the last minute adventure that they might want to book. You don't want to display that ad in the departures area,
Okay.
right? So it's contextual, and contextual basically means playing the right ad to the right person at the right time.
Es colocar la publicidad correcta en el lugar correcto. No es lo mismo la publicidad que se coloca donde estás recogiendo tu maleta que cuando estás en migración o cuando estás en cualquier otro lado del aeropuerto. How do you combine your efforts with the duty-free stores in order to make a call to action to buy something in the airports?
So we've actually, it's very interesting you say that. So I come from a mall background. I
okay.
was at Westfield Malls.
Viene de la industria de los centros comerciales.
So airports are becoming malls in one sense.
Exactly.
So we did in Atlanta, we did with Florida Cana, we did an experience. So it was a taste testing outside of the duty free, in partnership with the duty free.
Sí.
I may get the numbers a little bit off, but I believe it was a 4,000% increase in sales.
4,000.
4,000% increase in sales, which is 400 times increase
Sí.
in that product.
Wow.
So it's very much, if someone's walking by, they get to taste it, of course they're going to be more likely to buy it.
Yeah.
So we'd like to do more of that. In my presentation today, I'm going to talk about Estée Lauder and how they've become their largest retail revenue is from airports, more than any malls. They make more in airports than they do in any other channel.
Wow. Él nos está hablando de un ejemplo de un aeropuerto con la marca de ron Flor de Caña, en donde además de hacer degustaciones, también tenían publicidad y las ventas aumentaron en un 400%. Y nos habla también de cómo Estée Lauder, su rentabilidad y sus ventas viene principalmente de venta en aeropuertos. Interesante escuchar ese tipo de cosas. Uno pensaría, would you think that maybe it's in a hardware store, in the malls or in makeup stores in malls, but in airports, Estée Lauder is the best revenue place.
So I think what's going to happen is that if you look across the globe, there are literally tens of billions of dollars being invested in airports. Even Santo Domingo, for example, you can see the improvements that are being built. Those improvements are trying to raise the traveler experience, which will then attract better restaurants, better bars, better retail, which then will lead travelers to come earlier and spend more money.
Wow, interesante. Él dice, solo hay que ver la cantidad de dinero que se está invirtiendo en los aeropuertos para ampliarlos. Eso atrae mejores tiendas, mejores restaurantes, mejores lugares. Y obviamente eso también al final hace que la gente quiera ir antes, llegar temprano al aeropuerto y gastar más en todas esas tiendas y en todos esos restaurantes.
The positioning of the airport for many people is they are boring. The experience is changing.
Yes. So I can tell you that there are certain airports in the United States that after 9/11, I'm not sure I thought this would happen, but they are actually opening up the airport for restaurants and retail for those that aren't flying. So they don't have a ticket, but they want to come and enjoy, and they get a 2-hour ticket to go through and enjoy the restaurant and retail.
Wow.
I think that you'll find that the airport experience, it's also very competitive. Airlines have the ability to choose which airport they want to fly into.
Yes.
This may be a little bit different, but in the United States, where they choose might be because that's where their passengers want to be. And if their passengers want to be there because there's better restaurants, better parking, better this, better that, then it's good for the airport because they can attract airlines and more, obviously provide more gates to those airlines.
Wow.
Sí, le preguntamos sobre el posicionamiento de los aeropuertos,
Claro.
de que para muchas personas los aeropuertos son aburridos, y él nos responde que la experiencia ha cambiado totalmente,
Claro.
donde las personas tienen mayor capacidad de hacer más cosas, de vivir mejores experiencias.
Pero oye, qué interesante. Aeropuertos en Estados Unidos que le están vendiendo tickets a la gente solo para entrar a comer y a comprar adentro de los aeropuertos, no para volar.
No para volar. Es
Wow.
decir, que ya el tema de las áreas restringidas se está abriendo un poco más para que las personas vivan experiencias quizás más gratificantes, y esto uniéndolo a lo que decía él hace varias preguntas, que ya los aeropuertos son mall,
Sí, sí, sí.
o sea, son centros comerciales.
Once I've been in the Hong Kong airport.
Yeah.
Is one of the biggest airport I've been in my life, and is I like to describe the Hong Kong airport as a mall with an airport beside. It's so big, so many stores, so many restaurants, that it's just to.
So it's the gateway to China, right? And I flew into the old Hong Kong airport, where you literally are flying in between apartment buildings landing. You could see someone changing and doing their laundry
Oh my
out.
God.
Hong Kong airport is man-made on an island, completely man-made.
Yes.
And it is one of the wonders of the world.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And how about the? Let me see how I make this question. The people, when you pass through security, you are so tense.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because if you don't have anything in your luggage, I don't know why you are tense. But everybody is tense in security, and then you have to relax in the gate, and this is it's so strange relations in the same place. How you manage this state of humor with the advertising that you put in the airports?
It's a brilliant question, because it's basically what my presentation is about. I think that you're talking about normal, what goes on in people's psyche as they go through airport security. What about people that are apprehensive? I'll give you an example.
Yes.
There is a massive growth in the United States with therapy dogs,
Therapy dogs.
support dogs.
Yes.
It is required in all airports that there's pet relief areas where pets can go to the bathroom.
Yes.
It's a stressful time. We want to build pet relief sponsorship areas. So, for example, it's a
Wow.
beautiful area where a brand that is interested in pets can begin to tell the story to the pet owner in that strange moment. We do a lot of that. We do health walks through airports so people can take their mind off. It's really about trying to slightly entertain to greatly entertaining people,
Yes.
and not causing them to be bored or causing them to be nervous.
Le estábamos preguntando de cómo manejar los diferentes estados de ánimo de una persona en un aeropuerto. En seguridad, en el área de seguridad está muy tenso. Luego, si quiere relajar en el gate antes de subirse al avión, que es un poco nervioso. Y nos contaba cómo están trabajando con marcas. Ahí en los aeropuertos hay aeropuertos que la gente lleva mascotas que son de terapia, ¿no? Que necesitan una mascota para poder mantener su estado de ánimo. Y cómo ellos están vendiendo esas áreas patrocinadas para que haya marcas que estén relacionadas con las mascotas que compren estas áreas, y ahí contar un poco una historia alrededor de las mascotas, a los dueños de las mascotas, y cómo sacarle provecho a este tipo de situaciones, y cómo hablar un poco montar una experiencia relacionada con lo que estás viviendo en el aeropuerto.
Excelente. How do you join the experience of the airport of the experience of the airline?
That's a good question. So we are not involved with effectively the airlines. Our job is we are an agent. We have airport relationships that we invest in, and we are the person that wins the contract with the airport. Then we find brands that want to go into the airport. Effectively, think of us as almost like a real estate agent.
Okay.
We don't own the house and we don't own the seller, but without us in the middle, the transaction doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen.
Sí, la pregunta que le hacíamos es cómo pueden unir la buena experiencia en el aeropuerto con una buena experiencia, con una experiencia en la línea aérea. Y él nos dice que dentro de esto ellos son un intermediario,
Totalmente.
que ellos están para proporcionar una buena experiencia al pasajero sin intervenir en las iniciativas de la línea aérea.
Claro que sí. How is different the experience of an airport in the Caribbean, like Dominican Republic or in Germany. I don't know, it's something that is totally different. ¿Cómo se diferencia la experiencia de publicitaria, de advertising experience, en un aeropuerto como República Dominicana versus Alemania, por ejemplo?
So, excellent question. So, if you take the main global airports, whether it's Munich and Paris and London and New York and LA, global brands want to reach those,
Exactly.
that audience. When you get into the Caribbean and the Dominican Republic, airports, many of the airports' primary purpose is the primary driver of revenue for that island, which is tourism.
Okay.
So the people that want to speak there are hotels, tour guides, restaurants,
Rent
etc.
cars.
Exactly. When the airport's focus is more business, then that's the advertiser that we go after. When it's tourism, right, the tricky part is when it's both. I would argue that Santo Domingo
Yes.
is both.
Okay.
It is both tourists and it's business.
And the business.
And so if you walk through the airport, you'll see a mix of banking advertisements, and you'll see a mix
Ron
of
and beer.
and then you'll have also the hotels and the advertising for the tourists. That is what we need to get right.
Dice, le pregunto, ¿cómo combinar, que la diferencia entre los aeropuertos de un país como nuestro o un aeropuerto de clase mundial es, en los aeropuertos de clase mundial, en París, en Los Ángeles, en Nueva York, en Alemania, en Berlín, vas a encontrar muchas marcas globales anunciándose. Sin embargo, en nuestros países hay una combinación entre marcas locales, pero también con artículos relacionados con el turismo, como rent cars, hoteles, bancos, tarjetas de crédito, excursiones y demás. Es decir, que ahí es un poco una diferencia. Y una combinación entre una cosa y la otra.
Excelente.
Well, Morten,
Pleasure.
a pleasure to have you here.
Pleasure.
We need to let you go because you are going to the stage right now.
I'm next.
And you're next, and Beta is going to kill me if I don't leave
Thank you very much for having me.
Gracias a Morten Gotterup por estar con nosotros aquí. Se va para el escenario a su presentación. Así que, de verdad, esperando que les haya agradado mucho esta entrevista, hablando un poco de la publicidad dentro de los aeropuertos.
Señores, vamos a una pequeña pausa comercial. Al retorno seguimos con esta ronda de entrevistas aquí en FOA 2019. No se muevan del dial, que esto es Almuerzo de Negocios hasta las 3.